Hey MMA fans, welcome to MMA Wired. The fame of fighters inside the fighting ring is undoubtedly amazing, but have you ever wondered what happens to them after they retire? MMA is too demanding of a sport. For the vast majority of its athletes, they'll put years into their pursuit and then, in a blink, it's gone. They retire. For the first time in their lives, they're just another person in line at the grocery store or stuck in traffic. And it's a little shocking. That's why a fighter needs to have a post-MMA career plan. Well, fortunately, many of them manage to uphold their high quality of life outside MMA too. By the way, please do like, share, and subscribe to MMA Wired, and also hit the bell icon so that you never miss any upcoming video. So without wasting any more time, let's dive into today's venture. 5 fighters with the best post-MMA careers. Number 5. Keith Jardine. Keith Jardine was a beloved figure during his time in MMA. He was a type of quirky unorthodoxy that you'd never find in the modern UFC, and an unconventional individual and athlete who wouldn't be found within 100 miles of a silly Reebok fight kit. 5 years after his last fight, Jardine is something of a renaissance man. He's getting regular acting work in Hollywood, starting out as a stuntman and building himself into speaking parts, and the 41-year-old has had a number of business ventures on the side. Most recently, he's into the coffee business, co-owning Caveman Coffee with fellow former UFC fighter Tate Fletcher. Number 4. Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey is an interesting figure because her MMA career may not be done. Arguably, the best of her non-MMA work might be behind her, given how quickly and perilously she fell from grace following 2 devastating losses. She still has a film in production, but also had a role in the television show Blind Spot that was initially a guest spot, but may expand into something greater based on the response she got for her work. As with all things Rousey, the performance was polarizing. But as is always the case with Rousey, she didn't look to start small. She jumped right in at the highest level of the game, parlaying a highly successful WrestleMania appearance from a few years ago into what looks to be a natural step in her stardom. Number 3. Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is the reigning WWE Universal Champion and has some parallels with Rousey. He was a star who enjoyed a meteoric UFC rise and a blistering fall, and many of his biggest career accomplishments happened before or during MMA. Based on his return at UFC 2000 last year, and the talk as recently as July, the former UFC heavyweight champion might also be back in the octagon at some point, even in spite of his suspension for a banned substance that still has not been served. He's made enough money to own giant swaths of farmland in another country, and spends his days hunting and fishing for as long or as little as he desires. Not a bad gig, if you can get it. Number 2. Randy Couture. Randy Couture put together a career most would only dream of. In a time of legends, the Natural was among the most legendary. A 2-division world champion before it was cool, and a man who continually defied the odds. While the more casual fan might look at his 19-11 career record and challenge the contention that he was excellent, Couture truly was. He sought out the biggest challenges he could find and built his career on attempting to overcome them. His strength of schedule is second to none, mixing in title runs and one-night tournaments in a way the sport will never allow again. During his career, he was also known for taking a stand against UFC management, a position he still speaks on occasionally today. While many at the time were simply frustrated that he was sitting out so long, a decade later it became clear he was something of a trailblazer in the area of fighter relations. After concluding his MMA career against a prime Lyoto Machida, Couture parlayed his charisma and industriousness in a decent Hollywood career. Though no one will ever laud his diversity as an actor, his life as a legitimate tough guy has afforded him the luxury of playing the part of a movie, video game tough guy with relative ease. He also has several business ventures over the years, including his Extreme Couture gyms and clothing line, and is among the more recognizable faces to have emerged from his era of MMA as a result. Oh, and he'd probably fight Federer if he got the chance. Is there anything about this guy that isn't enjoyable? Now let's head to the last, but not the least in any way, one of the most successful MMA fighters who earned immense money, name, and fame outside the ring too. Number 1. Brian Stann. There's only one Brian Stann. Former commentary partner John Anik would call him the greatest living American on UFC broadcasts, and it was with good cause. There simply isn't anyone else like him. While much of his decoration comes from a past that includes a storied career in the U.S. Naval Academy, athletic glory there and afterward, an incredible career as a Marine, and an MMA career that garnered a WEC light heavyweight belt and a number of memorable UFC fights, it seems Stan is just beginning. Since retiring after one of the wildest bouts in UFC history against Vanderlei Silva, Stan almost immediately became the best broadcaster ever to step into a UFC booth and one of the best to ever sit at a desk during a UFC studio show. He is involved in a nonprofit organization for veterans, has written a book, and has most recently decided to move on from MMA to earn an MBA and enter the world of real estate as a leader and executive. So this was all about MMA fighters who enjoyed a great fortune both in and out of MMA and had one of the best post-MMA careers. MMA Wired will be right back with more amazing content. Thanks for watching the video. Till then, keep growing, keep smiling.